Happy day, happy day, happy day, everyone. I am Erica Kesse, a love force with mysterious wisdom, celebrating life. I am so pleased today to be here with all of these miraculous, wonderful ladies who have took the call and decided to come on through and do a mental health awareness panel, the coach edition. And so I am so excited for you to learn about them and to know all about what they have to share today. I will say that I am a multifaceted leader and a mommy, very much excited about being beneficial to leaders in that those who are experiencing imposter syndrome and burnout so that I can be their therapeutic COO. So I have the title of being a host. I'm a TV producer, as well as a host, as well as a COO and a licensed professional counselor. Yes, I'm multifaceted. And so I wanted to make sure that we recognize all of the coaches in the mental health industry. I think sometimes they're not specifically acknowledged during Mental Health Awareness Month. And I know that a lot of people are not willing necessarily to go to see therapists or counselors, but they will go see a coach for their well-being. So it's important to understand just the broad nature of what's available for you as a consumer to be able to move yourself on your journey so that you can be the best version of yourself. So now we're going to have each one of our wonderful ladies to present themselves, and we're going to do it in alphabetical order. So first, can we have Arejay? Actually, I'm sorry, April. Please, can you introduce yourself? Oh my, April is not here. Not yet. So let's have Arejay go first.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. Hi, I am Arejay, and I am also multifaceted. So I'm an energy healer and a coach, and I like to approach wellness as a whole picture thing, and I actually emphasize the spirituality aspect of everything. So I am a podcast host, the Essence of Expression podcast, and I am the CEO of the Essence of Expression LLC. And we provide coaching workshops and events that help guide people to live with greater clarity, authenticity, and joy. I'm excited for the conversation.
Thank you. Thank you. And I apologize. April was here. I just had to scroll down. April, please share your introduction.
Hi, y'all. No, for some reason, my computer did not want to connect to my microphone and video today. So I was a little behind, even though I do 8 podcasts a month. So timing is everything. Which leads me, we'll get there. But I think a lot of the challenges these days are holding ourselves to such a high standard versus being human and having love and compassion for each other as humans. So that's a lot of my driving work. So I'm April Roberts. I am the founder of the Vixen Gathering. I do business consulting, energy alignment coaching, and spiritual mentorship to high performance women.
Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much, April. It is about being human. And it's so wonderful for us to just be who we are, authentically ourselves. Thank you so much. And Eternity?
Hello, I am Eternity Sledge, a catalyst of transformation, embodying creativity, resilience, and purpose. I operate as the multifaceted Black girl, which I'm considering renaming Multifaceted Black God, but let me know what y'all think about that. But I serve in that role in two ways. One is by being the founder of Meerkat Impact, which is a foundation working with at-risk youth to equip them with mental health advocacy, life skills, and pathway discovery. And the second way is by partnering with purpose seekers and multifaceted women entrepreneurs to help them transform their lives from chaos to clarity. So happy to be here with you all.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Eternity. And Kimberly?
Hi, good morning, I should say. Good morning. My name is Kimberly Lechnick. I am a relationship coach. I empower ambitious professional women to rediscover their self-worth because it didn't go anywhere. It's inside there, ladies. so they can have those fulfilling relationships and experience the transformation that they desire to have in their lives. And again, Erica, thank you so much for the invitation for this very important conversation that we're going to have today.
Thank you so much. And next we have Lisa. Lisa, you're on mute. There you go.
Okay, perfect. Hello, everyone. So I'm Dr. Lisa Drew, emotional wellness coach, educator, wife, mom of three, and as someone who knows what it feels like to be successful on the outside, but overwhelmed on the inside. So my doctorate is in educational leadership, and my background in teaching and coaching, I've spent years helping people, leaders, teams, parents, and everyday go-getters break free from the emotional patterns that keep them stuck, stressed, or shut down. So I teach what I've lived. When you understand your emotions, you unlock your power, not just in your personal life, but in your leadership, your relationships, your energy, and your results. So whether I'm working with a team trying to communicate better or an individual trying to feel like themselves again, my mission is to help you shift from survival mode to a fully aligned living where your peace, presence, and power lead the way. So remember, you don't have to be perfect. You just need to be emotionally present, and you can go ahead and do that for yourself as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Lisa. And Optimist Rachida.
Thank you so much for having this safe space, Erica, and all you other wonderful ladies joining us here today. It's voices like ours that give people hope. So thank you for all making time to be here. We never know who is listening to us in the silence that needs that little glimmer of hope. So thank you, first off. Secondly, I am known as Optimist Rachida because no matter what this worldly life throws at you, I always have the determined spirit to be optimist, positive. There's a healthier way to deal with your problems than being depressed all the time. And that's why I help other people from my lived experience, not by any coaching certificate, but still lived experience that helps trauma survivors and abuse survivors to not only survive, but thrive. Talking about thrive, that's the goal. And that could save their life because when they figure out how beautiful life is, they want to stay here.
Absolutely
Absolutely
amazing.
amazing.
Thank you so
Thank you so
much.
much.
Terise?
Hi, everyone. I'm Terise Lang, and I'm a life health and wellness coach. And I love supporting professional women 40 plus who feel underappreciated, underacknowledged, forget to take care of themselves when they're busy doing everything else. I like to have them shift from just apathy and resignation to, well, this is the way it's always been, to, hey, I'm excited to get up in the morning and live my life. There's so many women I run into who say, you ask them how they're doing and they say, I'm fine. What does fine mean? You can tell that that's not really their space. They're trying to lift themselves up. And I love to be that person, as I am an empath. I just am. And I love to show compassion and kindness. I also have 25 years of study in the transformational space and a medical background. But my main thing is, too, I like kind of partnering with the mental health experts. Like, they have their patients, right? But the patients kind of need that accountability and encouragement partner to kind of keep them going, like set up a program to reach a goal and to keep that support going, because therapists are very busy people and valuable. So that's what I do, and welcome everyone.
Thank you so much, everyone, for introducing yourselves. Again, this industry, the mental health industry, is vast, and you have to find your right fit relationship that will be able to walk with you on the journey. And you can have a coach and a therapist and a acupuncturist and a massage therapist. Why not have a full support system that is there for you. So it's important to know about the wonderful things that each one of these ladies bring. And so you're going to learn about that in just a moment, because we're going to pose the next question to these ladies. And that question is, what are your thoughts on the state of mental health? And what solutions to the problems that you see, that you create, and that you have? Basically, they are the solutions. And they're going to tell you even more about themselves. But what are those problems within the mental health industry that you see? And now we're going to go around the other way. So we're going to start with Terise.
Yes, everyone, the things that I notice all the time, especially when I work primarily with women of color, is there's a lot of shaming, there's a lot of bullying, and there's a lot of gaslighting or dismissal of things like when women say, I'm just not feeling myself. I feel so sad. I feel tired. A lot of chronic fatigue, which is really like cloaked depression. And so I think that that's part of it, is that I love getting the dialogue out that it's okay to have mental health issues. Show me someone who has not one issue in the world. And still to know that that's okay, that there's support, that they are not alone. Go ahead.
Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much, Terise. And now the next person is Optimist Rachida.
I agree wholeheartedly with Terise that there is support, there are resources out there, because back in the day when I was in my little rut, I'll just say it that way, I didn't know there was any resources or even any human beings that cared. So human beings can be the best resources out there. And it's all about communication, talking, listening. A lot of times people don't know that they can speak their voice and be heard because they grew up being silenced in one way or the other. And so they have to be brave enough to realize, yes, I can tell someone how I'm feeling, whether it's mental, emotional, physical, whatever. Talk to people, get it out off your chest. That is all. Thank you.
Wonderful. Wow. You all are bringing up some great things. Let me just go ahead. That was already amazing. I love having panels like this because so much comes out during it. Shame, bullying, gaslighting, being able to communicate and feeling like you've been silenced. Wow, these are some really serious things that are going on with people. And so we need as many people as possible, coaches, therapists, all the people, your hairstylist, anybody, everybody who can hold space for you to be able to do that for each other. We are here for each other. Yes, thank you so much. Now, Lisa, please.
Hi, yes, I love this question. And then something you said, Erica, earlier, that so many different professionals are needed in this space. And I'll find that myself. There's actually a study done that says that the strides that someone makes in therapy has a bigger connection to their therapist, as opposed to what strategies the therapist is using. So if it's someone that I don't, you can tell if you don't have a vibe with someone. I have so many other coaches in my corner that I can refer them to someone else. And people are like, well, why do you do that? I want to see the person get progress, but that's just, that connection that you're able to build with your therapist, your coach, that will do wonders. So my thoughts on mental health, the state of mental health today is urgent and very misunderstood. We're seeing record levels of anxiety, of burnout, of disconnection, emotional numbness, and not because we're weak, but I feel like we're taught to suppress what we feel and perform, right? Suck it up and get the job done, and push through the pain without processing it, right? We kind of normalize that, and we're over-informed in our culture, in our society, and under-supported, right? We know what to do, but we're not emotionally resourced enough to do it, right? So as an emotional wellness coach, I help individuals and teams stop ignoring those warning signs. And I feel like that's what a lot of people do. The signs of stress, burnout, anger, disconnection, and start using your emotions as a guide instead of something to fear or to avoid. So my solutions are rooted in emotional mastery and teaching people how to feel without getting flooded by those emotions, helping teams and people to communicate with empathy and not just efficiency, supporting leaders in resetting their nervous systems so they can lead with clarity instead of just control, and guiding parents, professionals, everyday people to break those emotional cycles that are running their lives. So mental health, it isn't just about coping, it's about connection, clarity, and reclaiming our power. So thank you for that question.
Erica, you're muted. You're muted, Erica.
Looks like, did we lose Erica? Okay, who's next
Yes.
alphabetically?
Kimberly is next.
Kimberly.
You know, this is just such a powerful. Oh wait, Erica's
Thank you
back.
so much, April. I saw you take the lead. I appreciate that. It is Kimberly's time. I apologize. I was going to say to the people in the audience, we are going to answer your questions. So please keep posing questions. We'll have time for that after the ladies respond. Thank you so much, Kimberly.
You know, this is such an important conversation. It's finally part of mainstream conversation. And I say finally because I've seen it through the course of years change. And I'm speaking from a very young person who felt very invisible. And again, being rooted in our faith, whatever that is integral. It is integral. Whether it is Buddha, Allah, God, energy, source, whatever we determine it to be, it is integral. But we're finally talking about it. But you know what that means is we're finally talking about it, but we have a long journey. And that is why I am so grateful that Erica put this panel together so we can continue the conversation. There are so many people that are suffering in silence. So many. And I know because I was one of them. But here I am today. And as you're listening to all of us speak about this topic, I want you to just really be present. The last thought that I want to give everyone as we continue this dialogue today and moving forward is if you are struggling now, you are not alone. As you can see, this is a small sample of the individuals that can support you. But as Erica so eloquently said, we are one small piece of a larger picture. You need to have a support team. We are digitally connected, just like we are today, but we are emotionally isolated. And again, my voice is speaking from my younger self that felt just like you are now.
Thank you so much, Kimberly. Wow, y'all. I mean, whew, this is good. This is good. Next, we have Eternity. Please answer the question.
Yes, so my thoughts on mental health, I think there's three that I really want to hit on. One is this thought of imposter syndrome. I feel like a lot of people throw that word out there and they're saying that they aren't who they think they are, but really we are in spaces where it's not meant for us to be. I think a lot of women who think they're having imposter syndrome, they're just not in a space that is supporting them the way that they need to be supported. And that's something that they might need to seek out outside of that job or start figuring out how to make a plan to get out of there. And I really like what Kimberly said, being rooted. I have three values that I tell everybody who meets me is that I'm rooted in family, freedom, and faith. If that environment does not help my values, if that decision does not align with my values, I'm not going to do it. If it's not going to align with who I am and who my character is, I won't do it. And that's how you start to get away from that imposter syndrome feeling. The second I wanted to introduce was ACEs, adverse childhood experiences. People don't realize that whooping you got when you were a kid, that bullying you had for 2 seconds, all of that affects who you are now as an adult. It affects you then and it continues to affect you later if you aren't doing the work to recognize what's going on and being aware of it. And it's something that recently has been done studies on by the CDC. So it's something you can start looking into. You can get your ACE score and really just start to talk about it. I work with youth. I also work with adults, and I see it in both. You see it in the 17, 18-year-olds who are trying to figure out if college is right for them because their parents are telling them that's the only way. But I also see it in 40-year-olds who are like, I've been working at this job for 25 years. I'm not going nowhere. That's probably because you weren't stable when you were a kid and your parents moved you from house to apartment, and now you are stuck somewhere where you don't belong and you're feeling that imposter syndrome. And then the third thing is confusion. People don't know who they are. They don't know where they going. They don't know what they doing. They just know they want something different. They want something to change. And that's where I come in as a clarity coach. And I come in with a framework that I would love to introduce to all you ladies today. I call it GLAD. So it's gratitude. Let's start figuring out, like Kimberly said, what we're rooted in. What is our faith? Who are we? What do we like? Let's celebrate that. The second is logistics. Let's come up with the plan. Even if the plan is I'm going to wake up and I'm going to brush my teeth. That's something. We're taking a step. That's important. The third is A for audacity. As a woman of color, as a woman, as a person in America, we have to be more audacious. We have to go after the things that we want. Everybody talks about this American dream. The reason people get the American dream is because they're audacious. They see it and they go after it. We have to put the work in and understand that we belong wherever we want to go. And the final one is D for delusion. We got to be a little bit more delulu, y'all. People are so realistic, which is great. Sometimes you need to be realistic. However, there are times where you can create a reality that does not currently exist for you. I've been doing that for a couple of years. I see what I want before I get it. Because if you can't see it, there's nowhere for you to go. You got to see what you want so you can obtain it. So that's my three. Imposter syndrome is because you probably don't know who you are and you are not surrounded by the right people. ACEs, adverse childhood experiences, what happened to you as a kid is going to affect you as an adult. And then confusion. Let's figure out what you really like to do, who you really are, and start to move in alignment with those values.
And Eternity, can you tell us how old you are?
I am 22. I'll be 23 in 3 months.
Yeah. Now, next we have Arejay. Please share with us.
Yes, I love what all the ladies have said. For me, it's really about self-connection, right? And there is this disconnect, and yes, there's a disconnect with each other as well. And I kind of don't. I see it as a wheel, right? And I don't care if you come in on the divine side, on the nature side, or on the you side, because it's all the same thing. It's just a different entry point that you're using, right? And whatever can help bring you back to you, because we're all pieces of this puzzle, right? And the puzzle doesn't work if the pieces individually are not what they're meant to be. So bringing all of who you are is something that's really important. And I think a lot of, especially if you are spiritually gifted, and if you're older, I'm happy to see that now it's becoming more acceptable. It's becoming something that's more readily shared, right? We're not hiding as much. But if you were older, you were taught to hide because it was a safety issue, right? And so learning to embrace those gifts and learning that sometimes it's not the logic that's going to lead you, and that's okay, right? And I really encourage people to find your own way to do it, right? I'm so happy we have more and more tools nowadays, and they're being more widely shared, but I still see this tendency to try a tool, and when you don't get the result that you were expecting, probably because you saw someone else get it, instead of going, hey, maybe this isn't the right tool, let's try another tool. And especially as women, and especially people of color, it's very easy to go, what's wrong with me? Nothing. You picked up the wrong tool. Let's put it down and go find another one. Okay? Because all the things work, but not all the things work for everybody. And you need to find what's working for you. And sometimes you got to create it. So thank you.
Spectacular. Thank you so much. And April.
Love it. Well, all the genius has been spilled. So just kidding. I actually, it's so easy to go last because I'm taking notes as y'all all share your genius. So thank you. So number one, I think a huge problem we have that y'all all touched on in different ways is we have a culture currently that's counter to vulnerability and authenticity. Yes, we are digitally connected, but like we put so much thought into how we appear being digitally connected instead of being real, right? And healing starts with vulnerability and authenticity. I don't care if it's mental health, emotional health, physical health, we have to be vulnerable and authentic. And these are not things valued in our current society. So I feel we have to work on that, and finding a space where you can be that is the solution. This morning, I had female entrepreneurs I'm coaching on productivity. One of them had a moment where she was crying about something, and I was like, we're going to hold space for you. This is what's needed, right? And to me, that's the greatest honor, that someone feels safe enough in that coaching space that they can be that way. Which leads me to my second problem I see is, especially I work with all women. So women are told that it's not okay to rest. It's not okay to feel. And Lord forbid, it's not okay to crash. You got to hold it all together, right? And I really think you have to feel, even if it means crying. You have to rest. The feminine essence is resting and receiving, but we're going and giving. So we have to balance this. And absolutely, I'm a huge fan of when you need to crash. I don't care if it looks like watching Netflix and eating junk food all day. I don't care if you sleep all day. I don't care if you're walking out there. Like sometimes we just need to crash. We're totally depleted. And I actually use that as a tool and a tactic to bounce back. So really just viewing these things differently. And my third major problem I see has been touched on already is a disconnect from the spiritual, from something greater than us. And I know that we are talking about mental health today, but again, I'm a spiritual healer on top of being a business coach and a high performance coach. So it's a very interesting blend. And a lot of times in spiritual spaces or mental health spaces, I hear mind-body connection. And my question is, where the heck's the heart? That's where our intuition is and where we lead from, right? So we're forgetting this like sacred spiritual center that is the beginning of us. So really learning to tap into that heart, and then you connect it to the brain and you connect it to your root chakra and to your body. And then when the heart starts leading, you really want to know thyself and let it lead. And so that kind of like circles back to vulnerability and authenticity. And one other kind of thing I have to share is finding the safe space. Like, you know, someone here on this call or a mentor or someone who is not a friend or family member, right? Like these women in my group that cry in front of each other, they didn't know each other from, at all before we came in, because your friends and family are sometimes biased in your favor. And sometimes they can't handle what you're going through as the real truth. They can comfort you. I know when I was married to an addict and leaving him and like going through the hardest part of my life, a lot of friends disappeared. And it's really just because they didn't have the emotional capacity to support me. I needed to go to a professional to support me through that. Right. And so there's no shame in that. So anyway, just wanted to wrap with that. I think and my last thing is be careful who you get advice from and share. Make sure it is a safe space, because I see women, again, I work with mainly women, so men, like, I don't mean to leave you out, but I see this pattern of them asking 10 people for advice, and then they're just more confused, right? So almost find that board of directors or that safe space that you go to, and they might be different for different types of problems. So these are kind of the problems and solutions I see often.
Wow. Yes. So you all, thank you so much for sharing your expertise here, because basically they gave you all a little more so of what it's like to interact with them. So I hope that you were able to select or look at the ones in the ladies here who you may want to build a relationship with. It's all about having the right relationship. And I would say that something that I'm going to kind of reiterate the points here before we go into the questions is I want to reiterate not necessarily the problems, but the solutions that were stated. Basically, everyone said find your own path. Okay, have somebody who is going to help you. Oh, not help. We don't help. That's what I say. I don't help people. I partner with people. They do their part. I do my part. So to guide you along the way, okay, you have to have someone like this, another person within the industry, have a social support system. That means it needs to be as many people as who will be the right environment, who can hold space for you. Something that I want to mention that I have, you all, is the Thrive Plan. And I'm going to put that up there. It is something that I created. I love that Arejay said, sometimes you have to create your solutions. I know each one of us, oh, yeah, we heard some of the solutions that we all have created to benefit other people. But I had to create a solution and I share it. It's like, it's my rainbow baby because it's what I created after losing a baby. Basically, when you're in conflict, what is it that you're going to do to benefit yourself, to get out of the mode of surviving, just surviving? How are you going to move out of that? You must be cognizant of what's going on in your body, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. What's happening? And then you do some things that you need to do for yourself. All of us are solutions. All of us. Choose a solution, choose a tool, try them on, try until you find the right fit solutions for you. You have your own cocktail of solutions that you need to use for particular things. You must use them to center yourself. And then you can make the decisions that you need to make where you're proud of yourself and you're flowing and you're thriving. Yes. So, as you all can tell, a lot of the same words are coming up as we are interacting with each other. We all are different experiences, but we all are bringing you back to what? Yourself. That's the key. Be quiet and get with yourself. Be with yourself. Yourself has all the answers, but a lot of times we're afraid to go there. So let's go into the questions. Let me look at the question. I had a question earlier. Let me go find that one. Oh, you know what? When I left out, the question went away. Does anybody remember what that question was? Oh my goodness.
Yes, I can read it.
Okay, thank you so much.
We got a question from Kelvin T. Cook. Hi, Kelvin. His question was, how significant is the impact of maintaining a healthy romantic relationship to one's overall mental health?
Okay, who wants to? Okay, Terise, go ahead.
I've got a couple of things to say about this, as I have actually read this, and I had a bad marriage and I have a good marriage, and I can compare and find out what I learned. And it is very significant. You actually do live longer Okay, that's what the scientists say. Live longer when you have that close personal relationship with a supportive person, now not an abusive person. And the other thing is, see, I focus on 4 pillars: mind, body, soul, and heart. If you leave out the heart, you've basically, you can't do without this here. It's not just something that functions to bring blood throughout the body, but it is also just telling you what it is that makes you connect with your spirit and your emotions to navigate through life. And when you have that person who can be a sounding board, that person who can be the support, and it's not necessarily 50-50. It is whatever has to happen for the two of you to support each other. And sometimes it's 50-50, 30-70, 80-10, 80-20, 90-10. And if you just remember that, and it is important, it doesn't mean if you haven't found someone to marry yet that that you should be miserable. There's something wrong with you. Take the time to allow that connection to be brought into your space. And I often tell people, you have a higher power. Ask your higher power to put that person in your path. I hope that helps.
Erica, can I?
Yes, go ahead. Go for it.
Yes, chime in. I think earlier when we were introducing ourselves, we were talking about the foundational pieces. And those foundational pieces is to know yourself, to know who you are and whose you are. Now, once you have that, then to transition to that gold star relationship, absolutely. Then you transfer to that gold star relationship, because then you know who you are. And when you know that and you know whose you are, then you can be present in that relationship, because again, it's about interdependence. It's not about codependence. And again, coming from a specific space of learning, right? Because we're always becoming. Doesn't mean that when we're listening to someone that they have it all together. It's typically because they've been through a series of things. I think someone said it earlier, I'm not sure who it was. A lot of times we meet someone's representative. We don't meet that real person. Either A, because they haven't figured themselves out yet, and there's no judgment in that, or they're not in that space of personal growth. I couldn't agree more with what Terise said in terms of the percentages of what happens in marriage. I just actually got off a call, and the gentleman was talking about being married only for 8 years, but yet he experienced a really traumatic health crisis. That person stood by him. You know who is for you and who has your back when it is storming outside and they are still by your side. When you're looking to develop a healthy romantic relationship, I think these are very important things to consider. Very important things to consider. And if you're not seeing some of these things and you're already in a relationship, then it's almost like an awakening for you to kind of explore how you can move towards that. Because we always can move towards something. We can always do that. The possibility is always there.
Thank you so much. Now, is anybody else want to answer? Yes, go ahead. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, okay. Can you all put your names in the chat so I can know which one to call on? So who goes first? Let's see. I think Dr. Lisa, I saw your hand first. Go ahead.
Okay, and I'll try to keep it brief because I don't want to, block anyone else from being able to share. But yes, I definitely love this question. So I believe deeply in the law of attraction, and that is tied to our mental health, our emotions, all of that, right? Whatever you're going to attract, who you are. not what you want. So that's the first thing. If you are not in a committed relationship, because our relationships, who we're tied to, is very connected to our mental health and our overall well-being, right? They can help build us up, and they can pull us down. So you need to make sure that you are detoxing any stuck emotions, and that could be from the past, that can be, from the present, and our future emotions, right? Which shows up as anxiety, being afraid of what could happen. That's just as real as something that did happen to us, if we kind of ruminate on that long enough. So clearing your energy and taking care of your inner self is going to help you to attract the person who is going to be right for you. And then even if you are in a relationship, still making sure that, because we don't learn everything at one time, right? So you may already be married and you realize, oh, this person isn't helping me in this way or that way. Becoming aligned with yourself, instead of trying to fix the other person, going within, making sure that you are doing the work for yourself. That's going to change your energy. That's going to change the energy in the household. And that is going to change their energy. And even if it's to the point where your energies are clashing and they decide that they need to, move on or whatever, it's making sure that your mindset and your inner world is where you need it to be is going to create everything else that you want out in the outer world. And I've seen, people who go through my program, and they're like, my spouse is starting to change, and they're looking at me differently. They're, because you're emitting a new frequency. And that is going to change the frequency of those around you. And, it's not manipulation. You're not doing it to change them. You're doing it for yourself. And it's just going to happen, naturally. So great question. Love that topic. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, you all are on this question. Let me get back to it. Who's next? Eternity. Oh, wait a minute. Eternity put her name in there. So Eternity, you go. And then I got you, Optimist Rachida.
I wanted to kind of bring a story to it, to put it in a real life point of view. I do think it's very significant. I went through 2 very difficult grieving processes in the past 5 years. And during that first grief, I was in a relationship with someone who did not understand themselves and definitely didn't understand me, to the point where it wasn't a safe space around me. And I began to spiral, and I couldn't take care of myself and get my mental health to where it needed to be until I was away from that person. Versus the relationship I'm in now, I lost my grandmother. And the way that I was taken care of, the way that I was embraced, I was actually able to step into my faith way more than I had ever been able to before. I was able to go to school and get my master's degree while grieving, instead of being miserable. I was just in such a space of love and care and security that I was able to take care of my mental health and know that even if I can't hold myself up at this moment, my partner will hold me up. Ooh. So I do think it is very, very significant if you are in a relationship that is with someone who is going to support you and that is healthy for you.
Thank you so much, Eternity. And Optimist Rachida.
Yes, thank you so much. It's a very good question. It reminds me that when you are in a soulmate relationship, not just a relationship, not just a marriage, but a true, genuine soulmate relationship, you are each other's other half, because you are 2 parts that makes a whole. And you have to always remember that some days I'm going to be down and he needs to lift me up. Some days he's going to be down and I need to lift him up. That balance, as needed, is what makes it work. Communication is what makes it work. When something's bothering you, don't hold it inside. Oh, I'm fine. I'm fine. We all know you're not fine. Talk about it.
Thank you so much. April?
So I want to hop in. Someone asked another question about, so the foundation is self-preservation, I saw. That's the beginning, but the foundation is self-love. It's a higher aspiration than preservation. And so when we, again, this is where the spiritual work comes in, when we can truly forgive ourselves, forgiveness comes easily to others. When we fully love ourselves, loving others becomes natural. And so, yes, this is absolutely the foundation, but I just want to raise the level of ambition from preservation to self-love.
Awesome. Thank you so much for starting us answering that question. I want to chime in about the other question really quick. And this is something that I talk to my clients about all the time. We learn in fairy tales and in Disney and things like that, that we are supposed to be in love, right? In love. But are we supposed to be in love? Because if a person moves and decides that they want to go away, right, a different way than you, and you don't want to go that way, then you feel this friction that's going on. And you must instead be in love with yourself and overflow onto the people who are around you. Then they can choose you and you can choose them daily or not. But it won't destruct you. It won't destroy you if they need to go somewhere else, if they need to move in a direction that is not the direction that you want to go. Now, one thing that I tell a lot of my clients as well about romantic relationships is we put a lot of energy into these romantic relationships when romantic relationships are supposed to be the same as every relationship you have, except that you're doing something with your sex organs. That's the only difference. That should be the only difference. If you are in a romantic relationship, it should feel the same way in all relationships. It should be this beautiful, loving energy that's flowing back and forth, and there's support and there's honor and there's respect that's there. And you just have this person that you're doing that particular act with them. So that's how you can have a life that's full of love and full of relationships and not be dependent or codependent on one person that is serving you. It could be a village, a support system instead. And that's my take on that. But regarding the self-preservation, I would say that is, yes. You know, I know you all have heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The lowest level is safety, right? Which is self-preservation. I need to survive. I need to be safe. A lot of people are not safe in the first place. That's one reason why these ladies are here. They've got that, okay? These are people here who represent safety. They are safety. That's why they do this work. That's why you can come and feel connected to them, because they can hold a safe space for you in order for you to find yourself, right? But then there's levels. There's more levels that you need to move, and they will guide and show you and expose you to higher levels up until self-actualization, which is the highest level that you can get to if you are working. Now, it takes some work now. You're going to have to work on it. All right, here's another question. What is love? The Bible says God is love, but why do we seek external love? Great questions. Before we do that question, hold on. Let me acknowledge this person right here. I had to leave toxic people to see my worth. Yes, because environment means everything. We are a seed that needs particular things. You know, even when we go get a plant at the grocery store, it tells you in a little thing what you need to do with it. Why is it that we don't know? We need to take some time to figure out if we need full sun or shade or watered every day or every other day. Moving on. Here's the question. And who wants to tackle this? What is love? The Bible says God is love, but why do we seek external love? Who would like to hit that?
I can chime in if
Who was that? Okay, we got Dr.
That was
Lisa.
That was Dr. Lisa.
And Optimist Rachida. Okay, Dr. Lisa, go ahead and go.
I love this question. Megan is burning it up in the comments. I love these questions. Bring it on, Megan. What is love? So I don't think love is a feeling. I feel like love is an action. And and I do agree that God is love. Now, us loving others is us showing them God's love, us spreading his love to others, through actions and and through that connection. Just being able to share in the journey and the process, because otherwise God would just plop us on earth by ourselves if he didn't want us to commune and interact and be with other people. Now, I do feel like that those emotions that we feel when we say we're in love, that those are emotions. That's not what love is. Love is patient, love is kind, those are all actions. Those are all things that we do towards someone else. And then in relation to her previous question about self-preservation, I feel like when people say or think about self-preservation, that there's a lot of negativity and shame with that, but it shouldn't be, because again, when you're on that plane, they tell you you need to put your own mask on first, and then you help the other people around you. Because if you're traveling with a young child, if you pass out, you can't put that mask on them. You can't do anything for that elderly person, who else needs your help, or whoever else you need to pour into in your family. That's it, right? So if we're not taking care of ourselves on that basic level, like you said, if we're not even doing the basics for ourselves, then we're not really pouring into others. We're draining them, and we don't realize it. We're putting limitations on them, or telling them they need to give us this, and that's when we feel entitled to their energy and entitled to, well, you should give me this because I did that for you. I gave you this out of my lack. Well, you weren't supposed to. You wouldn't feel that way, or you wouldn't feel like they owe you something if you gave out of your abundance and your overflow instead of your lack. So we need to take care of our self-preservation if we're going to really be able to love others and do these actions for others without expecting something in return. Thank you for.
Ooh, I love that. Yes, that's how you get to the overflow. Don't give nobody nothing. We not pouring nothing. They can splash around in the overflow. That's it. Yes. Who said they wanted to go? Optimist Rachida. Go for it.
Yes, thank you. My take on that is God, our creator, universe, whatever you want to refer to him as, clearly, no doubt, something higher than all humans that we can agree on. That is the highest form of love. Next to that, self love. Because if you don't love yourself, you are not going to be your whole self to love other people, animals, any of God's existing creatures. Because you're not going to be your genuine self he meant you to be, even though you might not have realized who that person is yet. It's a journey, folks. You're going to get there, I promise.
And
And
Eric,
Eric,
if I can, so again, to kind of piggyback on what Dr. Lisa and Optimist Rachida was speaking about, love is a decision. It's a decision that we have to wake up every morning and make. And on some days, I've been married for 25 years. On some days, you just don't feel too loving. But again, you need to show up. It's like it's a decision. So are you going to do that? You may not feel like you want to do something for your person. You need to think about that. You need to think about that, because you can't then expect them to give you love if you're not willing to give them what you really want. And I think that's something that often, in the time where we're often pressing the easy button, right? In the beginning, it's great, right? Oh, I love you. You love me. This is so wonderful. We're having so much fun. All the chemicals are flowing. It feels so good. To your point, Erica, we're doing those things with that person that we love, right? But then we get in the season of the real stuff, right? We get in that season of the real stuff. And when we're in that real stuff, are we going to make that decision to love them? Because we have really nothing to complain about if we're not going to make that decision and we're not getting it back. Then we need to think about that, journal about it, think about it. It's part of the becoming process. So great, just wonderful conversation today.
Isn't this amazing? April, I thought you wanted to say something about this too, right?
No, I had wanted to say something. Well, I had wanted to say something about the previous one.
Oh, okay.
About self-preservation.
Okay.
And I'll actually chime in on this one too.
Okay.
But so for the self-preservation one, should according to who? According to who? Whenever we start saying should, I always like to ask people, like, where's that coming from? Because that's normally something that was dictated to us, and that might not be your truth. And that may be part of the issue right there. Right? Secondly, self-preservation for me personally, that is an innate foundation. It's not something that I would strive for. That's something that it takes care of itself. Every energy looks to continue. Okay. That's just a natural operational mechanical function. And also for me, not self-preservation, because I am very much here to evolve. And sometimes when we're thinking self-preservation, it'll keep you fighting for the wrong version of yourself. It'll keep you fighting for that lesser, that disembodied, that disconnected, disempowered version of you. It'll keep you fighting for your representative. So for me, that's a no, right? You will naturally, we will naturally try to continue ourselves. We will naturally try to survive. That's just, it's the nature of things, right? It's not just us as humans, it's everything. And I think in terms of love and why we seek external love, I would say if we are in the seeking phase, it's because we haven't learned to give it to ourselves. Because what happens when we learn to love that divine spark within, yes, external love comes. We attract it, and we attract it in so many forms, right? Like, I know a lot of people tend to think romantic when they think love. We attract it in so many forms, right? And the universe is only as abundant as you're going to allow it to be, right? So when you love that spark, right? Like, I have so many beautiful relationships and so many people that are so full of love. And part of that is because we've worked towards becoming it, and we continue to work towards becoming it, right? It's not so much, hey, I'm seeking it, I need it, right? But other people can see that in you and they are drawn. But with that, it's your responsibility to know, are they drawn because they're here to drain me? Or are they drawn because they are my tribe and we are here to circle in this energy together and continue to rise?
Amazing. Thank you. I love different perspectives. We all have our ways to think about it. Terise, wait a minute. Let me ask you. April wanted to go, and then we'll go to you, Terise. Okay. So April.
Yeah, I just love what everyone's sharing, and that this is a journey. And I'll share, I just turned 49 years old. As I shared, I was married to an addict. He was the love of my life. So that was exceptionally painful that I had to walk away. I didn't really walk away. I fell away because I was collapsing in all ways possible. And so I like to say that's the greatest act of self-love that I ever committed, is preserving myself. So I can understand going, starting there and moving up. But one thing I wanted to share on this question, because a lot of people around my age struggle with the dating question, the romantic question. We're very set in our ways. And so I got out of a long-term relationship 2 years ago, took some time off, kind of dated around. And I was like, I'm going to hire a dating coach. So I think we have some relationship experts here. And what was fascinating was I set my core values I was looking for in this relationship, and they're completely different to what the 29-year-old or 39-year-old April would have been looking for. And had I started dating without doing that work, I would have still been functioning off of old habits and old patterns when it does not serve me now, because I love and thank you everyone mentioning God. My sole purpose right now is to serve God. That's my number one purpose. And again, whatever term you use. And so I check with my boss on everything I do, right? And so all my other work is to support that. And this is very deep and very vulnerable for me to share. I think I've only told my mother and my best friend, but what God told me was, I'm not here to support my significant other. I'm here to support him in the spiritual world. And my significant other is here to support me in that role, which being from, South Mississippi, et cetera, this is totally opposite of how I was raised. You are the woman behind the man. You pay attention to your children. And I had to mourn the loss of that identity. So again, this is a lot, it's very deep, but I just want to share that. But I knew when I got my answer, that was the truth, but it didn't mean that I didn't grieve it. I mean, I remember crying to my mother, crying to my best friend, because I couldn't talk about it without crying, because I had to grieve letting go of that identity. So it doesn't matter to what level of self-actualization you feel you've gotten. If you are still here on earth, you are a work in progress. So give yourself grace and go with the flow, which sometimes the flow is a path of thorns. And I know that well, but keep going. So thank you.
Wow. Speaking about love, I'm just feeling, are you all, I know everybody watching this, people who are going to watch the replay, and even right now, are you not filled up with love just being in this space right now? Oh my goodness. Like, I feel so excited. Woo, I feel so good. I'm going to be on a high the rest of the day. Okay, Terise, please answer the question and give us your closing remarks, because we are past time for this day.
All right. I'll try to make this quick. It is quick, but it is deep and dearly felt that ever since I learned that the Lord created us out of love, we start with one cell, and every cell that we have has that capacity to love. And when we connect with each other because we are family, all of us. And so that love just keeps perpetuating and spreading. I think what happens is that sometimes we have blocks from our experiences in life or traumas or whatever, blocks to experiencing it and therefore expressing it in ways that are healthy for ourselves and others. But we cannot not have love because we come from a loving spirit. That's what I had to say.
Wow. Thank you so much. That was so beautiful, Terise. Let me make sure I put your information up there. You notice as they talk, I'm trying to make sure I put up their information. That's Terise's information. If you would like to get some time with her, do a complimentary chat with her. Just spend some time alone with her and just notice just how you can connect with her. And so we want to go back around now, and Terisa is perfect because we can just go back up the opposite way of the alphabet. Let's do Optimist Rachida, and then we'll go up all the way to the top. So please give us your closing remarks.
To piggyback off what Miss Terise, was saying is that, yes, we all come from God, the same source. And if we return to him, which I know we all will, not just at Judgment Day, but during this worldly life, return to him multiple times a day if needed, and often encouraged, because if anybody has your back, it's him. Even if there was no human on earth and you were the last human, you still have him. Amen.
All right. I'm sorry. I'm so excited. I must be on mute. Lisa.
I love it. And thank you again for holding this space for such a powerful conversation. I just want to add that when we talk about mental health, we often skip over the quiet buildup, right? Unprocessed emotions that we carry in our bodies. And these are what shapes our choices and our relationships. Most people aren't broken. I want to end with that. They're just emotionally backed up. And that's why my work does focus on emotional detoxing, not just naming your feelings, but releasing what's been buried. Because when you clear the emotional clutter, your clarity returns, your energy flows, and you stop reacting from a place of survival and you start leading from alignment. So emotional wellness is not about perfection. It's about presence, and you don't have to carry it all. You just need to clear what's in the way. So I did want to share this real quick. You can't lead from a place that's numb. You can't outrun what you won't become. Emotions ignored don't disappear. They just get louder year by year. So pause, release, and let truth rise. The wisdom's buried in your cries. You weren't just born to survive the pain. You were made to feel, to grow, to gain. Detox the hurt, rewrite the script. Your soul's not broken, it's just eclipsed. And when you clear what blocked your view, you'll meet the strongest, truest you. Thank you, and I'm happy I was able to join you guys today.
Oh, thank you so much. You're going to have to write that down for us to something. You know you ain't right sharing this poem, and then, I mean, we didn't get to write it down. Anyway, let me stop fussing. Kimberly?
Well, I can tell from this conversation, this is the beginning of many more, Erica. Definitely many more conversations. That was absolutely beautiful. You know, as someone who is a leader, I just want to share this today. Be mindful of the spaces that you're curating. Be mindful of these spaces that you are curating. Coaching is a sacred exchange and should be treated as such. We don't coach people out in the open. I don't know, just alone on this platform itself, people are struggling and they're coming into these conversations, and we need to be mindful of that. So that was something that I think is really important. And then also to talk a little bit more about those emotions. Emotions are just data, they're just data. That's it. It feels so much because we're energy beings and we have this energy. And I think Erica and I and a group of people were talking about this last night. If you are looking at supporting your younger people, the younger people in your life, watch Inside Out. It is a terrific film that explores emotions. Also, connect in with literature that teaches about emotions. Just this week, my husband and I know 4 people who have taken their lives. If you are in this place right now, there is support for you. It is happening as we are having this conversation. There is support for you. There is a hotline. You can reach out to someone. Again, as you continue to build your team, there are solutions. In the moment, we feel like there's not, but there are solutions. And you are loved, even in this moment when you feel like that is not your truth.
Thank you so much, Kimberly. Eternity?
I want to speak to anybody who is ready to go through a transformation. You may be experiencing some confusion right now. You're ready to move, but don't know what to do. And I want to remind you about this GLAD framework, and hopefully it can help you out. The G is gratitude, recognizing who you are, celebrating where you are so that you can have the foundation to move forward. The L is logistics, coming up with a plan to keep on pushing. The A is audacity, to take the reins on your life. Transformation starts with your mindset. So take the reins, push through, take action. And the D is delusion. It's to create a reality that doesn't currently exist. Thank you.
Thank you. And Arejay?
The biggest piece of your life is you. And you get to do it your way. You get to find what works for you, what supports you. And it gets to look as amazing and weird and any other adjective to other people. It doesn't matter because it's your life, right? Sit with it, be with it, create it. And just remember, you get to be your own prior commitment.
Absolutely amazing. April.
Hi. Well, I want to start by saying that my cup is full and my heart is overflowing. And Erica, this is all you and your energy bringing us together. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. It looks like everyone else here. So thank you. I greatly appreciate it. And I knew the energy was going to be off the hook before we even got on here, just the interactions on LinkedIn with the other participants. So thank you everyone for showing up 100%. And same to everyone listening who we can't see. Thank you for taking this like sacred pause, this moment for yourself, for your health, for living your best life, because that's what it's for. I'd like to wrap up and just say, once I became a spiritual healer, and to clarify, I'm a spiritual healer for God and the Christ consciousness, but I learned something I didn't understand before, that healing happens, on the mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, and cellular level. There are so many levels of it. And so you're probably entering into one of these levels. So again, give yourself grace. And I saw Erica shared something beautiful as well. But just understand it is very deep work and there is a lot involved to it. And it's really our purpose for being here on earth. So if you're here and you're on this journey, like, congratulations, love yourself for that. Honor that. And I would love to share my link that's scrolling is my new program that I just launched. I just had the first person sign up yesterday. We are still in pre-sale. So you get a third off to honor the first 20 women who show up. And I entered this world to do the work I'm doing now. I got looped into business coaching and consulting because I built and sold a multiple 7-figure company. So women wanted to know how I did that. But I'm circling back to my spiritual work that I love, which is the aligned feminine, just helping you lead the life where you are thriving and loving and growing in every aspect. So if you are looking for a safe space, please check it out. I can't wait to share that with you. And also just find me anywhere on social. I love hearing from other people. This, like I said, my heart is full right now just hearing from everyone on this panel. So I know we'll continue, but even if you're out there in the audience listening and we can't see you, please just find me, shoot me a DM, share with me your biggest aha from today. I would love to continue that connection. And just thank you to everyone.
Thank you so much, ladies, for taking this opportunity. I so appreciate, I sent messages out to several people, and I'm a let's get going kind of chick, right? That's the kind of person I am. And so it hadn't been long, right? I mean, it's been like only a week and a half that we are here now, because that's how I like to do it. I think that God moves in momentum. Whoever's ready, let's go. Okay. And so I'm ready to go, and I'm happy that you all are here. And wasn't this a beautiful time? Oh, my word. Thank you, God, for this time that we've spent today. And we have been able to share about the mental health industry. I love that people need to understand that it includes everything but your physical health. So you need to be taking care of your mental health as we are celebrating Mental Health Awareness Month this month. And you all, I hope to be able to do more things with you all. And I want to actually share that these ladies have amazing giftings, and it is about the relationship. So please just, try each one of them on to see which one is the best fit for you. And I'm just so grateful. Thank you, ladies. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Oh my goodness. I'm going to be on a half for the rest of the day. And I hope that everybody who is, I want to tell you all, the reason why I decided to do this is because I did it with the therapist. And they were so hungry to talk. And I thought maybe the coaches need to say what they need to say too. And wow, I was on a high after that. I think I'm going to keep doing this kind of thing. All right. Anyway, and also the highest numbers that I get on YouTube is about these mental health panels. So people are hungry to hear from the people who are doing this big, beautiful work out here. So you all keep bringing yourselves. The only reason why you're able to do this work is because you know yourself and you bring yourself and you hold space for others. Thank you, thank you, thank you again. And you all just create a thriving rest of your day. There's going to be a video that plays, but go ahead, and for the people who are watching, you can watch and learn more about your Goal Concierge and Arejay Kesse and all the things I have going on. You all create a thriving rest of your day. Bye.